this though. Okay. Now, let me start that over again. This is Carl, Yogo Dunzo on the Discord. I'm doing another deck showcase. This time I'm joined by Corey, who goes by KCoorey, if you want to say hi.
Hey, hello.
And we have what I think is a wild, wild deck. And I've seen like a couple screenshots of what this deck can do, and I think it's just phenomenal. Uh, so do you want to walk us through the deck composition a little bit?
Yeah, for sure. So I first came up with this deck when the new cards came out. I wanted to use as many as I could. So it was a bit of a, and it probably still is to a certain extent, a meme deck, but I think it's actually getting more and more consistent now. So we'll see. But yeah. So basically, the idea of this deck, it runs around a Governor Spy with a bunch of regal or rally cards, and
Mm-hmm.
you want to put the rally cards and holdings on your stronghold and play a bunch of things from your stronghold. Yeah, so
Which
I
is
have a
just
Phoenix spot.
go on,
What?
sorry. I was just kidding. That's such
So
a
it's
wild idea. I know, like, that was kind of the idea for Crab. And then they put out a Season of War right after and just kind of shot that in the foot.
right, which is Season of War and Field of Ruin can definitely shoot this in the foot too. There are plenty of cancels for us to stop that with and item hate, but that still can kind of wreck this deck sometimes. So that happens.
Yeah,
But we have a little bit more ways of stopping it from happening than Crab does too.
yeah.
So
And I think, if because of Governor Spy, it's not impossible to start it all over again.
right. It's
Because
it's
I
not a
know,
fun thing to do, but you can start it over again.
yeah,
Yeah.
because I know Crab's main plan for that was recalled defenses, I think, and that was a
hmm
dynasty event that you only have three of, and while you only have three governor spies, there's a lot of fate you can throw on them to
Right.
keep reusing them. Um, since I assume you've played this at least a bit, what's your opinion on Maho?
I really like Maho. I'm still, I haven't brought this to a bigger tournament. I am using it in this month's Discord league.
Okay,
I played a few games and I'm doing okay with it. But I don't know if you need to build a deck around Maho to make it amazing, or if you can just add it into certain decks, um, and make like decks that are already good and make it okay with them.
hmm
So we'll see. This deck is definitely built around Maho
yeah,
with
because
keepers,
I was gonna say you're
with
running keepers for free money, Sanguine
Shadowed
Mastery,
Village. Yep,
Shadowed
Sanguine
Village.
Mastery. Shadowed Village is that card that
Oh yeah,
when you
okay,
take
yeah,
a fate
yeah,
off your guy, if he's dishonored, you get two cards. If he's not, you get one card.
yeah. Okay, yeah, I can see that. It didn't even click in my mind that that interacted with Maho, which is stupid because it's coming out in a cycle of a bunch of Maho in it.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
I also have Stolen Secrets, which is basically Maho, just to
hey,
help with interact with that too. So
hey man, I dig that card. Way back in the day,
same.
before we got Stoke Insurrection and Kachiko 2, I built a communist Scorpion deck that just played as many of your cards as it could, and Stolen Secrets was definitely a part of that. And I
That
kind of
was,
think I need to rebuild that now that there's that theme has gotten even worse.
I mean, that was a big, motivator for me to make this deck. Was I really like this card and I want to find a way to make it play in a deck that's not terrible. So
Right.
that's what this partially is. Also, the Lowlands, I didn't really. The first time I saw the spy thing was Nakazumo did it one time, and he, obviously he was more on the Stokes end at that point, but
hmm
that's the first time I really saw it. So that's kind of what gave me the idea originally too. So
Yeah, I mean, like if you have Rally, like I guess that or Governor Spy with extra Dynasty cards really offsets the penalty if there is such a thing to dispatch to nowhere, because you can
right,
just throw it on your box and just leave it sitting there until you need it.
yep.
Um, what's the cutest interaction you've seen in this?
Oh, gee. There are a lot. I have definitely had interactions where I've had three of my resourceful Maho guys out, and I've had it where I've had, or no, not three, two of those out, and a city out. Had a
Okay.
free seize the mine before, which is just great.
Mm-hmm.
Into a, you know, my guy, sorry, type
Yeah.
thing.
Sorry.
I
It's my person. It's our person.
yes, yes. I've also had, I've played where I've done stolen secrets with um three shadowed villages. So I just in
Oh shit.
two
Okay.
different turns. So that was just a 14 card interaction right there that I get without the bids. So I've had some
Huh.
really fun interactions.
So before we get on to the games, I do have a question. Why Seeker of Knowledge?
I originally had Karmic Twist, which was fun, but there's already enough cards that are potentially dead cards in your hand at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Secret of Knowledge kind of mitigates the I don't really like Scorpion Shigenza that much, and it's a
Okay.
courtier, so it's just
Okay.
kind of fits a few things that help the
Mm-hmm.
deck.
Okay.
Never truly a dead card.
Yeah. How many Shinobi are you running? Out of curiosity, since you're running open window, you've got
I think nine. Pretty sure.
Shadowstalkers. I mean, I guess
Shadowstalkers.
Outlaws kind of counts.
It definitely counts if someone's trying to disown you, or like
Yeah.
it can make the difference sometimes if you don't really want to use your stronghold on them at one point because
It's just
you
weird
want
for
the
me
opponent to be more aggressive.
because
Right.
Ally Artist was always like the fact that he was a Shinobi was maybe tertiary at best.
Right. Right. And it still mostly is, but like, that's a keyword that now makes a slight difference with open window. So
Hmm.
makes him even that
And
much better.
and okay, yeah, no, I think that covers the basics for the deck. Um, if you want to hop in onto Jigoku,
Yeah,
I'll join a game and we'll see what we can see.
sure, for sure. You said you were going to join me, so you're going to
Yeah,
play against me. Is that what you're saying? Okay,
no,
okay.
I'll spectate.
Oh, okay.
That way, I can ask questions about what's going on. Um, did I just lose? What happened?
No, no, no. I want to make sure that people know that it's a live game.
Oh, okay, yeah, no, that's a good thing. I should have mentioned that prior. Um, so, what is the game plan for this deck? Dishonor or is it Conquest?
It's definitely conquest.
Okay.
It can, if you're set up right, it can definitely dishonor decks that want to dishonor you because it has entertainer in there, which makes it hard to dishonor you anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like that, but it's not going to, unless your opponent's just very aggressive. It's not gonna dishonor other decks most of the time. You can switch, like with most Scorpion decks, you can switch the game plan like halfway through if you notice, wow, they're just gonna keep bidding high and assuming I'm bidding high. Okay,
Yeah,
I'll just have to win a
I
different way
guess
now. But
the Seekers of Knowledge kind of help out with that, where you can get multiplayer rings if you decide to go that way.
they do,
Uh,
they do.
are
In
the
my play style, I always am like strapped for honor anyway because I'm tend to be fairly aggressive. So
I mean, it's a
they
red
help
deck,
me stay
right?
alive.
Honor's just a resource. Um, the Cloak of Knights, are those for Sadako? Because it doesn't look like you have too much in the way of dishonoring. Well, no, I guess you got a Miyako and three court games and three for shame, so I guess that's enough.
Yeah, they're definitely mostly for Sadako, but like you said, like just being able to dishonor somebody else and use it against somebody else is great too. So,
Hmm.
um, Yeah, I originally didn't have as many City of Lies in, but it's just such a good card, especially with Rally. Like
Yeah, and especially if you
I
can
used to,
like
oh
again, it comes down to like how good it is if you can offset the penalty of holding on to it.
yeah, and with Maha, or I'm saying it wrong. But with our new,
Maho.
interaction, yeah, Maho. It's so nice to not have to take fade off your guys.
Hmm.
Like,
Um, have you and this interaction I talked about way, or I say way earlier, I think over the weekend. Uh, Invoke the Divine actually looks like it might be an okay fit for this deck.
invoked. Remind me what that does again.
Yeah, so that's the Phoenix event. I don't know what its traits are that you pay 3 fate for, and it lets you play up to 5 fate of spells from your hand, or up
Oh,
to three
geez.
spells that cost a total of 5 or less,
Yeah,
without paying costs.
yeah, that could be super fun. Again, I have enough cards that are potentially dead in this deck, which would
Yeah,
make me scared to add it. But I mean, high end roll like that'd just be amazing, right? Like,
I mean, because like I want to build that deck because I want to play a Seize the Mind for free, as
right?
well as other
Yes,
Maho things.
yes. Well, I mean, it's not impossible with this deck to do that too. So,
Sure.
so,
So
so let's.
what do you look for on your like
So,
turn 1?
so we're starting right now. For the cards that I put under my stronghold, I usually end up putting Honor's Reward under stronghold unless I'm facing Honor Phoenix. Then I put Night Revels under my stronghold.
Okay. Yeah, because your
Cards,
deck is cheap, isn't it? It caps out.
it is. Well,
Oh, it
it
caps out
is
at
on
3.
the
Jesus.
Dynasty side at least.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, it's hard not to say. Yeah, I see a manipulator right now. It's always fun to stay with manipulators.
Hmm.
But I try to look for as many rally and holding cards in the beginning and spy in the beginning as I can.
Okay.
Um,
What about conflict side?
I'm looking, pretty classic conflict side. I look for forgeries. I look for Sudokus. I look for assassinates. If it's going to be, which this deck might be, item heavy, I look for like calling in favors and stuff like that. So
I gotta
yeah.
say, um, just move my cameras.
Did I? Might have given you a newer deck that I'm playing with slightly. I think the one card that I have in this deck that I don't have in my other deck is
Milwaukee
on my
Cowboy.
yeah.
Yeah. So I was
Which
gonna ask, like, that's really fucking cute. Like,
it I've
the
never even got it off, so I took it out. But it just in theory it would be so much fun, right?
yeah, just like, oh no, it's this is now in my box. Do something about it.
Right. Good luck breaking.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, like that City of the Rich Frog is basically super safe right now.
it is, which is great. Like because obviously I'm not going to be able to get spy this turn.
Mhm.
I'm actually not sure what else I want to buy because I might just try to go for and keeping fate, having a bunch of fates for this deck is very good too. Have the
Yeah, I was gonna say,
well that just
pardon me. I imagine this has some weird fate management because you need to bank fate to throw on characters, not for the stuff in your hand necessarily.
right, right. Well, when you're buying characters, you also have to like think about how much fate you need on the characters too. So
Hmm.
there is a price to buying characters as well. So it's not only pure conflict side that you're paying for.
Oh no, like I know, like typical Scorpion is like bank fate for conflict, but because you're leaning into Maho so much, this is more bank fate for throwaway fate on your dynasty characters.
Right, right. So I'm going to do classic Scorpion thing where I'm probably going to just attack Earth first because that's what we want to do.
As I say, best ring.
Yep, yep.
Are you
Oh,
running any fire roll cards? I didn't.
The mastery. Penguin or
Oh,
the
Sanguine
Phoenix
Mastery.
card.
Okay, yeah, yeah, okay. I forget that that's a
No, that's the only
fire.
reason. And I mean, that's a good like that can wreck tower, so that's a good enough reason to run it alone almost.
Yeah, especially since comboing that in Magical Christmas Land off of a Sadako that's had Cloak of Night played on her
Yeah,
is just all
I
the
mean,
value.
as soon as things like shadow stuff come in, that makes that decision a lot tougher. We'll see. This
Yeah,
deck might have to be a lot different than the shadow deck version because you're probably not running Phoenix anymore at that point, probably. But that's for a different time too. So
yeah. Although, I know many people are concerned about what's going to happen when Junzo and Shadow Step enter the game. Um, I
I
don't
mean, the
think.
other six clans are concerned. Is that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
yes, the other six clans are concerned. Um,
Right.
and I personally don't think that six fate and two cards for a quasi consumed by five fighters is that much to be concerned about. But that's just my
I'm
personal
guess
opinion.
I'm guessing, and this is just me like not doing any research with the deck or anything. I'm guessing we're gonna go crab splash at that point though for
Oh yeah, for reprieves
saves.
and ceaseless, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I guess it's a good
But
thing we don't have any in-clan saves, because then it would be a problem.
right. I mean, classic Scorpion. We have enough good cards. We're even adding a few other cards from other clans that other clans wouldn't necessarily care to add as much as we would. Just make our decks fairly good most of the
Yeah,
time. But
I mean, like, Sanguine Mastery is almost a more versatile calling in favors. It's a more aggressive calling in favors. Maybe versatile is not the right word.
yes, it's different. It's different. It's it's always nice with KB to have a card that dishonors your guys just in case
Mm-hmm.
you need to ready them.
Yep.
Done there. Oh, let's go for the. I don't really think I'm going to use too many free cards this turn, so I'm going to press that just in case he has something that I want to cancel at some point. Let's see.
Forgeries are always good to be like even better when they're free.
Yes, yes. And obviously, he's not going to use, or they're not going to use an assassinate at this point since they are going void.
And because of that spicy Miwako Kabe, you're not in any danger of losing it.
That's true. They would need a few cards in order to break that. Now I'm out of assassinate problem range, so forgeries are now turned on. They did put one on
Hey,
fire
fire's
for
not
me.
too
That's
shabby.
nice.
Yeah.
That's nice. Hmm.
Yeah, I guess it
I
is
wonder if
actually
they.
an important thing to note is that generating unopposed conflicts against Scorpion can actually be detrimental to you now, just
It
because
can
it,
be.
it
It can,
makes the assassinate to turn off forgery not viable.
right. You have to be very careful about the range of things. With and that's just the game in general. But with Scorpion, like people say pretty classically, they'll make you pay for mistakes harder
Mm-hmm.
than other clans will.
Mantra
Oh,
Fire.
monk cards. Oh, they get
Uh, okay.
place of fate,
So
and
since
that's just
that,
gonna happen. That's just
yeah,
I don't want to stop a free card. That's not fun.
no, and
But uh,
a two
Dragon,
fate
I do I
Tegashus.
do think I do love the direction Dragon's moving slowly. I'm all about getting as many cards in your deck and making cards that you play as cheap as possible, and that's what Dragon's turning into. Like,
I
especially
have
that. What's their new card that you just draw two cards?
Yeah, key alignment. I was gonna say I have some issues with that card, and I say
Yeah,
some issues. The issue I have with it is the fact that you can chain it together. So a key alignment can find a key alignment, can find a key alignment, and because you're in the same window to play them.
if it was any other clan, I would too. But um, I just want Dragon to be in a good place for a little while before I complain about him, I guess.
I mean, that's reasonable. Like in an ideal world, everyone's in a good place. Um,
Right.
it'd just be nice if we could get there without problem cards.
Ooh, ooh.
Ooh, this is spicy.
What? I like the deck he's throwing at me right now. Let's see here.
So, I mean, that's not doesn't feel
We're
like a
there.
super huge threat since it's just Mantra of
No, but
Fire or Let Go.
I do know how much a problem Renowned Singers can be since I run that in my other deck, my Lion
Hmm.
Splash deck.
Yeah, I
And this,
I built my own shitty version of that deck after I saw you play it in Jigoku Invitational. Was it?
yeah,
I was like, this is
yeah,
fucking amazing. I have to do this.
that's a super fun deck, and that deck is, I'm very used to that deck. Um, uh, uh-huh.
That's
What
tempting.
do I? It's very tempting. It would let me get favor potentially. I think it's worth it just because of favor aspect and
Hmm.
him not having to draw another card. Obviously, he could have fan and just ruin my day, but that's a problem later.
Yeah, but then fans going on a character was easy to assassinate.
Right, right. And if they overextend, I could definitely still have them in my hand potentially too. So, oh,
Ooh, all the spice. And
yeah, yep,
Via
yep,
Briga's
yep.
making some comments at you in chat. He's saying nice deck.
Who is?
Via Briga?
Okay, okay. Well, we'll see if it falls into place here. He's this their deck's getting set up all right now.
Yeah.
If
And what they do?
they do only get to get one card back because they have three cards in their conflict, or no,
No,
they only
because
get one
one
card
goes
back.
on the bottom.
Yes.
Unless they
So
happen to play another one and then recycle that, but that doesn't feel super
I don't
efficient.
know what they'd play right now to make that worth it with zero cost, but um,
I mean, the answer here is you give them the let go back, right?
right. I don't really have, I like taking their items and being okay with it, but I suppose I don't want him to draw more cards. So
There's also, like, Mantra of Fire is going to be a problem as soon as Mitsu shows up. Because I'm willing to bet Mitsu's in this deck.
ooh,
Ooh!
ooh, they are going all out here.
They want the favor.
Uh,
That's kind of wild.
that is
That's
very wild. That is very wild. And then they get another card back too. Their deck's moving too.
all right. This is a lovely, lovely little jank off here.
Okay, okay. Man, I'm gonna get in trouble for seeing more cards of theirs. Is that? Huh?
I mean,
Three stands are not fun.
I'd give him
That's
Shoshana
tough.
Key back here.
Right. I do like to
Because,
know what I'm attacking, I guess, but
yeah. And
there's
that also
some.
has diminishing value as the game goes on.
It does. It does. I'd like to be the only person that stands more than but I guess. So they have favor now. Okay. So right here, I'm probably going to toss. I hate tossing alibi artists, but I really would
Yeah.
love to see.
And I was going to say, you've got a lot
Really,
of value sitting on City to move over to your box. So
I do.
getting rid of
I
that
do. It's
sucks.
and that's there's a lot of choices with this deck. Um, and sometimes you're like, oh well, if I just would have made the other one, that would have been great. But that happens with a lot of decks too, I suppose.
It looks like it paid off. Uh,
It did. It
oh no! Season of War! And no censure for a forgery. Bullet dodged.
and the season of war there wouldn't have been game ending. Like I don't have any my stronghold set up currently,
Right.
so it wouldn't have been the worst thing in the world. But I would
It
not have
just
approved of it.
it just doesn't feel good.
Yes.
So I assume, like in this situation, it doesn't matter what he attacks first. You throw a governor spy in there and then stack your box.
Right. With let's see, how big is my city right now? 6,
7.
7. The 7 strength city. It's tempting to like go on attack with him, but that's pretty dangerous too.
Yeah, because he's got 7 military showing the Doom Shigenja and the Initiate.
Yeah. Yeah. So I would have to do that first. And without the I don't have my Ganja house, so which is pretty needed for this deck.
Yeah, and
But
it looks
it's
like he is going to run at that city pretty hard.
yep.
I wonder if he knows what's in store.
Oh, I think so. Oh, there's
There's,
the draw more cards.
yep. Then I guess the question is, how many renowned singers is he running?
Oh, 3 for sure. I don't know why you wouldn't run 3. That card's gonna.
Because it's going to feel real
That's a card
shitty when he finds another key alignment.
that's a card that's going to that should get restricted, but I don't think it will. It will get restricted in the near future, but it's
Uh,
just so good.
what key
It's so
alignment?
good.
Yeah, key alignment
No, no,
is.
no, 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 no. Renowned singer, and
Oh,
maybe
renowned
that's just
singer.
that's a very spicy point of view, I'm sure, but
I think
it's so good.
I think so too. I think it being in a water roll is. Oh no, you're gonna get punched in the tits home.
Oh, that's true. That's true. I forgot about that.
Oh,
That's a thing. No,
he got greedy.
he did. He did. He did. I also got greedy, so it's fair. Let's do this. So now what I'm looking to do is put as many holdings and rally cards under my stronghold. The rally cards for when it flips, I'll just see more cards over there.
Yeah.
But sadly, I
Also,
don't have enough
I'd like to think like
rally.
a side plan for this deck is break the Jigoku interface
I've
for
definitely,
for moving
I've had
Hyundai
it.
off the screen.
I've had it where like you can barely see stronghold anymore, so it happens. It's not it's not impossible, but
So it begins. So I'm assuming Milwaukee Krabe, City of Lies, and
Shadow Village. Yep.
Shadow Village. Yeah. Um, so have you considered run? Oh no, Stoke Insurrection only flips up your opponent's provinces. Is there any way to flip up your own face down provinces?
Not that I am aware of. Not that I use, I guess. There's probably something I'm sure of you. But I don't know if you could run Phoenix with that.
Yeah.
I know.
And
Bob's.
the only reason I mentioned that is because of stuff like City of Lies. If it flips down and then back up, it's a new instance of it, so you can use the ability again.
Right. Right, which is just so great. I know Wobbs. I don't know if that's his Discord name or not. That's just his Jikoku name. But
That's Yogo Areda on Discord,
okay,
I
they're
believe.
playing this deck too, and they're running Stoke in that deck,
Mm.
which looks fun. But again, I've never been a fan of Stoke because it's just it's a card that when it doesn't go off, I don't like cards that just sit in
Yeah,
my hand. So
I
sometimes
understand the
I
bad
can.
feels about Stoke because it is a very feels bad card when it blows you out. But at the same time, I've played Stoke Insurrection, and the most I've gotten to pick from is like um, a Moto Youth and a Keeper Initiate, and
Yeah,
that was not worth the fate I paid.
it, in my opinion, there are cards in Jaco or in L5R that um I call feel good cards that make
Mm-hmm.
you just be like, oh, this card's so amazing, it's so good. But as soon as you bring it to a tournament, it's not consistent enough for you to actually want to run that card. But you don't think about that at that point.
Right. Like,
Oh, what are they gonna do to me here?
well, they didn't play the Void Fist, so we're probably going to
Right.
see.
Are they? They're not. There's no way they're scared about honor at this point. I would imagine. I
That's
don't have
just
enough things to
playing.
break.
Oh, Pursuit of Justice. Okay,
That's right. That's
yeah,
right.
just make you do things.
That's fair. So they could just add another fate to. I'll just do this then on my character.
The initiate's only on attack, but I do think honoring yourself is probably the better call.
Right, right. Yeah, that's true. It's only on attack. They don't have to be in the conflict to do that though, right?
No, they do. The initiates have to be attacking to use their
And this
ability.
character is attack. Okay, okay, okay.
So, oh man, so yeah, he's gonna get a fucking key alignment back. I like that interaction. Renowned singers for key alignments.
Yeah, this is a pretty spicy deck. This is the first time I've seen a deck like this.
Yeah,
Um, Hurricane Punch and political. Yes, they have some plans for me. Let's
I
see
believe
here.
getting punched is the plan. That is the one thing I
Yeah,
like about new packs coming out when they contain uh, interesting cards. Is it tends to lead to very interesting decks for a while.
right.
Um,
Like how the
oh,
first time playing this in the wild, how are you going to be ready against like
oh Jesus
either
Christ!
of
Like,
these decks, really?
yeah, like I assume like when someone sees Governor Spy, the first thought is, oh shit, I'm gonna get stoked. Let me plan around that, and then just like, nope,
Yeah,
I'm just gonna move
right,
my stuff over.
right. Punch me in the face. Doesn't feel good. Have to take it. All right. Interesting. So I'm just gonna have to basically fate them. I'm not gonna be able to play more cards than them at this point. Hmm. Interesting. Interesting. I'm not
Yeah,
playing items, which is a little feels bad for me right now because I really want them to. But
right. Um, I'm
the
wondering
good news is
if monk decks are
city
gonna
is
move away
broken,
from
so they have to
attachments.
attack a dangerous province. What were you saying?
Right.
Sorry.
Oh no, I was gonna say I wonder if there's if future monk decks are going to rely less on items and more on like one-shot effects, like key alignment, and I say one-shot effects, but more event-based things.
I can see that. Yeah, I could definitely see that. It would make sense. For the deck, let's see. Uh, Man, I hate to use a card that feels like I'm wasting one, but I don't. So they're gonna get favor anyway. I just don't think I should use anything right here. Not worth it,
Yeah,
probably. Mm-hmm.
and nothing happens. Okay.
Right. The nice news, and I know a singer deck pretty well because of yeah. Uh, see. Uh, that's pretty great. You just get to redraw those cards every time. The
Mm-hmm.
problem is they didn't stagger their singers, which is a pretty big problem. So
Yeah,
now that's hard for them to get their singers back. If you stagger your singers, you can just have singers the whole game.
yeah. I think there definitely should have been different fate. I don't know if he had the fate available to him to do that,
I
but
don't know either. I think yeah, maybe they were at zero there, which
yeah. But even then,
is
like I think it's more worth it to not get the win, to basically just have an endless cycle of singers.
right.
Because now
Yeah,
if he's only got the one left, you can make it so that he never gets it back.
if I have an assassinate and he doesn't have any cancels at that point, he can get one of his two back
Oh no, you're right. You're right. Yeah,
currently,
yeah,
but I could also do other things to him potentially. Um, because like another card we didn't mention actually that's in the deck is Cloud the Mine, so
Mm-hmm. That
that's a thing I can do.
that's a card that used to be a staple for any deck that could run it, and then
I feel
basically
like
kind of faded
barely
away.
anyone. Yeah, no one runs anymore. I know Pugin continues to like champion for the card, which makes sense. It's a great card, but just no one wants to run it anymore.
Well, it looks like
Um,
we're getting something of a um, Shugenja theme from what we've seen coming out of spoilers, or not spoilers, the releases.
yeah,
So we might be the clan that can run it best after Phoenix.
Right, right. Which I hope we start to run it more
Hmm.
when that becomes the case. We
Okay,
have an
so
open window, which is okay.
city,
Uh,
city,
I
beautiful entertainer. So I guess this is an interesting decision point, right? Like if you want to move an open window, you can't buy the entertainer
right. Well,
because it.
I didn't know they were only going to bid one here, which makes sense.
Oh, with Mitsu
Um,
too. Okay.
I didn't. One part of the reason I didn't buy the entertainer is I can't move anything else to my stronghold at the end of the conflict phase if Governor's Fight is still up at that point. If I don't have any rally showing, so pass. Right, pass. Their deck is very scary though, that's for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I guess on the
Uh,
upside, you can draw all the cards with Alibi Artist.
yeah, that's nice. That's nice. Choices though at this point. They don't care about cards anymore. Hmm. Man, I have to go this. Just gonna take it from the other ring though. Are they going to use their stronghold right away or not? That's yep.
I mean, I guess the good news is it's Mitsu 2, not 1.
Right,
So you don't have to
right.
worry about the things in the discard pile coming back quite yet.
I think Mitsu 2 and I didn't see Mitsu 1 played as much as I've seen Mitsu 2. I've been part of that deck with Clan Wars and everything, so I know the power of Mitsu 2, so I'm actually more scared of Mitsu 2.
Yeah, no, I mean, like
But
if you're playing, yeah. Oh, well, hey, you can dishonor stuff now.
I got slightly greedy. We'll see. But you kind of need to with Mitsu 2. You want them to stay around as long as possible.
Yeah, I mean, you have to dump your hand, especially since you're at 3 honor. If he gets to resolve the air ring,
The thing is, I know they have a ready as well. So I can't bow him just safely either.
right? Although
And
the Shoshiniki's turned off right now because he doesn't have an ordinary character to target with it.
oh, that's true.
So if you have a for
That's
shame,
true.
he'll have to burn Mitsu's activation on the water ring to
I,
stand
I
X.
forgot about that part of the card. I thought it was just a stand. Yeah, no,
No, no, no. So it looks
I
like Dragon's getting a theme of ordinary characters, which is badly
another
phrased but
weird
kind of
dragon
cool.
theme.
Yeah,
Right, right. That is a very interesting. It doesn't seem like that's a cost at all, but in this situation, that is a
yeah.
cost. That's true. So it only you have to have an inner or an ordinary character on the board, or it only interacts with ordinary characters.
It only interacts with ordinary characters. So
Okay,
if
okay.
he wants to flip it up, I guess he could target a character of yours that's dishonored, or that's neutral and bowed. Um, Open
So he
windows.
would have to. He could interact with a character of mine to ready his guy. Is
I believe
that what
so.
you're saying?
I believe so.
Weird. I need to look at that card more. So, a super strange
Let
interaction.
me uh, find a Chrome window and pull it up real quick. Yeah, like that's. I have issues with that card. Oh, you can just use
I keep,
Pursuit of Justice. Herp derp.
I keep forgetting about Pursuit of Justice, so I'm just but but he can't use it later now. So
Yes, if you get to go back there. Yep, no, it's
that's fine.
Shoshiniki is
Um.
reveal a friendly face down province, choose an ordinary character, ready that character.
Okay, so he couldn't choose my character and ready his
Correct.
character. Okay.
Correct. But he could, if he wanted to flip up a province, he could straighten your character.
True. Yeah. That's fair. Hmm. Interesting. Missed one thing I wanted, got another thing. So we'll see. We'll see. Oh, he's played four cards now. Five,
And
this
he
makes
just dropped the Hurricane Punch, so he's at
makes
5.
five.
So now we see if he goes Air Ring for Dishonor or Fire for Rishoshi Nikie,
Right.
which I think both are reasonable. Oh yeah,
Oh yeah. Oh,
Pugin was rightly pointing out that you need 2 for shames because of Pursuit.
yep. Yep. No, I missed that.
He's got better
But
board awareness than both of us.
I think I want to do this. I don't think I want to do it in the conflict, but we'll see. If they play one more card, things could get interesting right now. But I because I don't know if I counted the ready as a card or not, so they might have only played 4 cards. But
Okay, so he is going
I'm
for Dishonor.
going for dishonor. Okay. Ooh, he didn't do that to his guy though. See here. Reaction. I wonder if his Acolyte can, and I don't think I'm going to do this. This would probably be a bad idea, but it's fun to theorize. Would his Acolyte still interact if I Cloak of Night him? It still give him a +1/+1. I don't think it would at that point.
Oh, if the Togashi Acolyte. Ooh, what does Cloak of Night say?
During conflict, choose participating character until the end of the conflict. That character gets +3 glory, and it cannot be chosen as a target of an opponent's card abilities.
Okay, so Acolyte is not targeting it.
Okay. Okay, it just gives it +1/+1. Okay.
Is my assumption. I thought I understood the rules really well for this game.
There's so many small, like, little
Yeah,
things that.
like I thought it's like, no, I got this. It's cool. And turns out there's so many intricacies, and I feel like a goober every time I walk into rules chat and start like reading stuff that's going on.
Right,
Because it's
right,
like this
yep.
is a super involved information interaction. I guess once you guys figure it out, I'll rely on Jigoku to explain it to me.
Which is part of the beauty of L5R. It's always like, oh, there is that thing that I missed that makes sense in this one specific interaction that could, just win you a
Mm-hmm.
game potentially. Like I remember, I don't know what game it was. It was freaking Demo versus somebody, and it was crazy. I shouldn't even
Oh,
start talking about it because I forgot the card's name. But
was that the Yojiro Noble Sacrifice
yeah,
interaction?
yes, it was
What
like
the
the
fuck?
craziest interaction, and I was just like, oh my goodness, that's a thing.
I,
Like,
I
how
I
does
think
it work?
I think I was streaming that game, and I was like, wait, why didn't
I
his
think
honor change? And that's just kind of like, wait, Yojiro negate. Oh my god!
right, right. I think Emma let the whoever he was playing have that turned back because he felt bad about that. But that was some nonsense, craziness.
Yeah,
It was
no,
awesome, but
like the
um,
really involved stuff like that, I dig. I just wish I understood the rules better to predict that kind of stuff.
yeah. Oh,
All
this
the
game is
hurricane
heading
punches.
downhill fast for me, and they're never
Yeah,
gonna. I don't know if they're going to be able to even empty out their deck. I'm sure they have a shuffle goblin in there. Why wouldn't you, right? Like, hmm.
I mean, maybe
So this
not
may not be
because
the best showcase of my deck, but it's showing their deck pretty well right
I
now.
know,
So,
right? I'll reach out to Origami Master and be like, hey, dude.
right, right.
But I was gonna say also he's at 18 honor, so shuffling is not going to be a huge concern for him.
I mean, gives them the option of honoring out too, right? But
God, what
yeah,
a
that's
fucking
true.
world we live in. I remember about a year or so ago, I built a super janky crab deck um, that ran Blade of 10,000 Battles and um, Command Respect,
Yeah,
and just dropped the Blade of 10,000 Battles on Casada, threw a Watch Commander at him, walked into a conflict and played Command Respect. I'd be like, please, pay 3 honor just to be able to play a card.
yeah, right.
And then as soon as you do, I'll play Defend Your Honor. And then since I've won that conflict, I'll pull the Defend Your Honor back.
Or I wonder what interactions he has to straight up still one from me without um doing anything. That's something I'm curious about right now.
So
There's a
Lion Splash isn't going to give it a whole lot. I don't know what the Hawk Tattoo's for, unless he's going to punch you home.
right. What she's doing to which is okay. I'm ready for that. That's
Yeah.
fine. But probably definitely another hurricane punch, right? Like so.
I mean, you got to drop a character, or
Have to.
that's all she wrote.
Right.
Woof.
No, we're still fine. We're still hanging in here until he plays a century here, and then we're not as good.
I mean, if he's got the censure, this is when to play it, right? Or of a Defender Honor. Yep.
Um. Yep. And this is why I personally, in my better decks, run duty because this is what happens to me a lot. But ugh.
Yeah, I was gonna say like, hey, the Beautiful Entertainer makes duty almost not necessary, but then when you flip all three of them
Oh,
turn one or turn
and
two,
and 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 rightfully so. Mine's Desire told me that in the past several times, and I'm like, I'm still way too aggressive even for that to be a factor. So,
mm-hmm.
um, yeah, I think unless there's something I'm missing, that's just a GG here.
Yep, no, that's I think that's it. Like, I don't know what's in your hand, but uh,
No,
hey, a
and
one cost conflict character isn't in there.
right, nope. Oh, that was a sweet deck on
Yeah,
Origami Master's part. That was really cool.
yeah, no. I guess we got a side benefit here. We had two cool decks on display.
Right.
You got time for one more? You got to bounce.
I can play one more. Yeah, that was a fairly yeah. I can play one more.
Okay, cool. Got a full screen. Man, yeah. Just even on a theoretical thing, like Renowned Singer and key alignment is really strong.
It is. Oh, I'm glad that deck was shown off. That was sweet. Um, this deck, if it's a deck like other decks that I play where if it gets set up early game and rolls, like this deck can be so good, but it can
Mm-hmm.
also be like it just was a little bit, a
Well,
little dead in the water.
I think the one bid that you know wasn't a good read on. Uh,
Right, yeah, that
definitely
was
sealed it.
definitely that was definitely partly my fault, and I fall for stuff like that sometimes with my aggression. I should have uh I should have bought an entertainer just going into it, but I saw that I had two alibi artists, and I was like, I want to be low on honor right now. So because I had
Yeah,
two alibi artists with two fate, so I was like, well, if they want to do that, I'm willing to risk it. Which that's what happens sometimes, right? But
yeah. I mean, that's always risk reward. And if you can keep alibi artists online for a turn or two turns, they very quickly recoup the risk.
yes, yes. They knew they were going to win that next turn. I should have thought about them having their Mitsu 2 out and been like, oh yeah, that's an actual possibility of me just getting Dishonor right now because that's
Hmm.
that's not uncommon for Mitsu 2 decks. They do Dishonor people sometimes.
Yeah, I
So
imagine if they're going into a turn with, you know, they had what, 15 cards in their hand? Like they have enough crap they can dump out the trigger Mitsu without needing to draw cards.
and with the I'm familiar enough with Lion Splash where I know like I do this. Another reason I should have done better is I do this all the time with my other deck that runs three singers, um, where if they make the wrong choice on a lot of situations where if they bid one in that situation, you bid five, they lose. Or if you
Hmm.
bid five and they bid, you lose. So it's like on my part, the wrong choice no matter what, which is why I love that deck, my Scorpion Lion Splash deck. But
Hmm. Well, I also just really dig the interaction between Beautiful Entertainer and Renowned Singer. Just the fact that it's
Yeah,
like, yeah, cool. It's just always on when I need it.
right, right. As long as it survives long enough, survives longer than the entertainer, and it's
And
kind
that
of cool. Like,
in
I think
I was gonna say
you
in
were
in
talking
the
about.
crappy. Go on, sorry.
No, that's all right. I rewatched one of my games from the Invitational, and you were saying like it is cool that singer and entertainer like are kind of in the same field and they work together. Kind of, I don't know. It's pretty sweet.
I mean, so in the crappy version of your deck that I made after I saw you on the Invitational, there was more than one turn where I assassinated my own beautiful entertainer just to fire a singer in the conflict phase.
Ooh, that's
Well,
aggressive. That's aggressive.
it only costs
I
you
can
one
see it.
honor, so
Yeah, yeah. Well, and a card, but
and a card.
that I like it though. I like it though.
Uh,
That's a good. That's a good just in case thing.
I mean, so I have. Oh, hang on a second. Guy Wancock. Feel free to leap in. Although I guess in the interest, you've got a kid. Okay, never mind. Yeah, UK time is definitely late right now. Um,
Oh yeah.
what I was going to say was way back in the day, I actually, this was before Scorpion had stuff like backhanded compliment. I went through a super convoluted turn where I assassinated my own dishonored character in the middle of a conflict just so I could drop low enough to trigger box, to steal, to do all these awful things. And that's actually one of the things that drew me towards Scorpion was sometimes the mental gymnastics you had to do to get your opponent to count to zero. Yeah,
Yeah.
Guy Wancock. I would. This stream should be up on Twitch for a week or two, I think. I don't think I have the numbers to be an affiliate to have it be up there forever or whatever the next step is up. I don't care. But in the event it's not, I do export these to YouTube, so you can check it out there too.
And it is a little, you can see this in Scorpion's chat. It is a little sad that City died, but it's
I mean,
also really really fun right now to see Seven Stings keep take that place of City and be that dishonor deck.
yes.
Um,
So I have mixed feelings about City dying, and it needed to die because it's super bad for the game. Like that effect is just not healthy at all. Um, I just wish Fantasy Flight would have banned it instead of eradicating it to be blank.
so so my feelings on it, and you can go 1,000 ways with these things.
Oh, sure.
My feelings on it, it where it was when it was on the RL. I know people still hated it. It's probably not ideal for like getting new people into the game when they play against a deck like that. It's a very feels bad. So I get it.
Hmm.
I'm not going to like say scream from the top of the mountain like why did you take this away from us type thing. I never played it anyway. But
My question is, why did you give it to us in the first place? Why did you burden us with this card?
well, when a game very like first came out, people didn't think it was amazing in the very and that was very early on. But a new game like you didn't know what was
Right.
super good wasn't at that point. So that being in pack one, it's hard to tell.
Like I can easily like imagine a world where if L5R if the gameplay patterns hadn't been quite so solvable, because it basically took like between core and cycle one for people to realize, oh, I'll just bid five, and just we'll both agree to bid five, and we'll just draw all the cards, and it'll be fine. I think if people had played the game as designers had intended, things might have been different.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe Corey will hop in here with us. And this is a series new deck. It's pretty sweet too. It's that deck I was talking about where it's the seven things keep
Yeah, actually, let's get
uh,
Siri.
wanted. deck. And well, I kind of went off on a different direction, but what I was saying, so I get for the health of the game for new players why they took it away, but
Mm.
also it wasn't winning that much when it uh when they did these changes to it. Really, like KC
Yeah,
was winning tournaments and stuff like that, not City.
I would like to think that on the next RL update, we get some cards back just because the justification for so many cards being on the RL was, oh, hey, this is terrible with City of the Open Hand. It can't exist together. Uh,
Right.
and now that City is gone, maybe we can get our toys back. I don't see that happening because the wailing and gnashing of teeth that would happen uh, would be really bad.
I know why they. I'm not gonna pretend to not know why they took off City and not gave us a bunch of things back right away. Like the Scorpion hate's real, right?
Yep. And
Um,
and I do want to be
these
very honest here. It's deserved, but
kids,
I think people are carrying past bad feels too far forward.
yes. It's definitely deserved, but at the same
Yeah.
time, and I'm kind of excited about this. I'm sure Lions not, but I feel like Lions getting a little of that hate we used to have now, which I'm
I
all
mean,
for. Like, fine, at least we're not getting it.
the quality of Lion cards is really fucking good.
And
Like it
I,
is, and they needed good cards. I don't think they needed this many good cards.
right,
All right.
like a terrible. They were pretty the worst deck for a while there. I think right before our last World, they were probably like people were like, "Oh my goodness, how does this deck win anymore?"
Right.
But
I think that's
I
very
changed.
fair. Wait, is that a revered Akoma?
Oh, probably.
All
Oh,
right.
what am I going?
And this should be interesting because Akodo T1 is a bit of a mad scientist with decks as well.
He is. He is. I play against him quite a bit. Uh, I'm never ready for the new stuff. I'm waiting for the new stuff to the table. So he's running on it right now. I don't know what he's doing. I just don't know what he's doing.
I mean, it's got to be
I
Honor Swarm. Is this going to be a Crane
think
Splash Festival?
against him where he has these honor cards in, and he's not running honor. He just wants the opponent to bid low so he can just kill them in conflict. So
Yeah.
it's tricky. It's
I
tricky.
mean, he's definitely going super wide here, and that was a real good flip on the message runner.
Yep.
Uh,
Yeah.
oh, that's
I'm
super bait.
we'll see. We'll see.
There's a five
That's
to
gonna
one
be
bid.
my. Am I probably gonna shoot myself in the foot again with honor? Most likely, but
You know what? It's it's a thing, unfortunately. So yeah, I guess he's gonna come air at you.
so
Sorry, say that
we'll,
again.
we'll on both sides. So we'll do this anyway. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
But um,
Even though the last game didn't work out super great, I do think it implied what the deck could do, and that is basically build the impossible to break fortress with utility.
yeah. Well, most of the time it's not even like. And I added that one card, the +3 strength for that a little bit, but it's not even truly that. It's more of like to have all my options open to me at the same time without
Mm-hmm.
having to care about my province line. That's more of what the dex is really going for.
So he went to
Uh,
air. You Geisha housed it to water. That seems good.
he's not breaking. He's going to honor his guy because of the window. They have to watch out for honor, which means I have to go. I think I'm just going to go fire, though, because I want my monk out. That'd be ideal.
I think you also need to watch out for Noble Sack.
True. That is true. That could be a thing.
Although that would be a
No, I have a good chance of having a cancel in hand, too.
yeah.
So that'd be pretty pricey on his part to pay that without testing my hand a little bit first, maybe. Oh, let's see here. He has a lot of non-military things right now. We'll stop the honor loss. Perfect
A
gift. He's
perfect
been
gift.
running so much. Oh, perfect gift. Okay. What's he gonna give
So
me?
he's going to
He's
give you the assassination.
for sure
And I guess he's going to take the contingency plan.
gonna give me
what
assassination. We'll see. He does.
what the fuck is this deck? This is amazing.
I'm glad all these are coming out the woodwork today. This is great.
I know, right? That looks like
If
he's
he gets
definitely.
assassination, he has to worry about honor loss himself because I could kill Prodigy, which would be crazy by me, but he knows I'll make those plays sometimes.
Yeah,
But probably not.
although, he is, since he's clearly on Crane Splash, Voice of Honor is also a concern. He gives you
Definitely.
Cloak of Night.
Yep.
All
I'm
right.
not surprised. I'm
The,
not
con-
surprised.
the contingency plan feels like it's a given because he's going to try and dishonor you.
Right. Ooh, I got this off. I'm gonna have to. Well, I'd have to worry about his cancels. We'll do that. We'll get a keeper out.
Yep.
Good,
And he
good
did
time.
give you the Cloak of Night, so dishonor seems like a. I'd have dishonored the Message Runner.
What?
I would have dishonored the Message Runner.
I don't. Well, if he has voice, right?
Oh, yeah, no,
I,
that's true. He could also be on Soul Beyond since he is an air roll.
sure, but that's a fate
So,
and a card out of his hand. I'd rather him do that to me be able to maybe respond to that instead of um just have a free cancel right in his hand.
mhm,
I could cancel the Soul Beyond potentially.
yeah, air roll makes sense. Or air roll, air ring.
Nope, gonna happen. Let's go ahead and do um interesting. This guy has one glory. Soul Beyond would suck if you got it though, potentially, because I don't really want to pay for a cancel necessarily. So I'll honor my guy, which is a little feels bad, but that's okay.
Yeah, because now if you maul him away, you get honor off of it.
Right. And I get to draw one card, which is not two, but that's fine, I guess. That's okay.
I mean, ooh,
Ooh,
where,
ooh.
where's that
Um,
cloud?
right here. It's right here.
uh, that would have hurt. So I guess this is an honor deck.
Yep, pure honor. He doesn't care about my assassinations, even. He doesn't care about me dishonoring out.
Nope.
Going to
So you were
and
clearly getting
respect.
a calling in
I don't know.
favors, and
He might have.
he's going to take the court games. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Does what make sense?
I said that does make sense.
Oh,
What he
okay, yeah.
chose. Um,
Never Cloak of Night. Interesting.
I'm all for that. I love Cloak of Knights in my hand. That's fine with me. All right, let's take some cards from him and know what his lineup is for the next 3 turns. Stolen Secrets is super good for that. So
Yep.
let's see. He has a way of. He has a logistics, which is and two elegant Tessens.
The logistics is actually no Tessens, Uber Tessens. I was gonna say the logistics is really spicy because there is a battlefield in play.
Right.
But
I accidentally took. I accidentally just thought of his lineup and accidentally took a bad card. Okay, that's my fault. I'm not paying attention enough. That will happen though.
what did you
Ooh,
end up saying?
accidentally took his way of. I was going to put that in. It's a way of the chrysanthemum. Chrysanthemum. So
Oh,
useless right now.
wow.
Whoops. Whoops. Uh, okay. Well, I can bid. Let's see here. Oh, he's dishonoring me.
Yep.
Okay. I'm just gonna have to let him have 2 honor. That's fine.
I don't know. He might steal one. Yep. Goes for two. Okay.
He doesn't care about me.
I mean, he might need to.
He might. You would think so. One thing that I keep forgetting about this resourceful Maho guy is that I can't put Tessens on him, which is a little sad. But
Yeah. Until they print a Shadowlands Tessin.
right. I can't do this though, which is okay, which I think I kinda need to do to him here to keep his honor
Yeah.
down.
I mean, clearly here you go Earth and
Yep, yep.
hope to win on cards.
Right. The game is falling way down now.
I mean, I guess that's the upside if you land a Governor Spy, is you can start generating value off of Shadowed Village. Prepared Ambush. Spicy, spicy. So that's going to pull
It
out
is. It
a
is. I don't
Chronicler is going to come out then.
yeah, I would think so. Chronicler was one. Um yeah, that is aggressive. Kinda needs to do it though. Let's see. We got that in order for him not to take favor. I need to dishonor him right now.
Yep,
And he'll get one. But pass.
and that's
Okay.
good. It
So
makes
this hand's going to be very low for foreseeable future. So
yep.
a little bit of a stranglehold on both ends right now, right?
Oh, and pitches a Legion of One, so he lost his own Maho.
Right. That is cool that you can run the Reliance Flash with that card. That is ain't done yet, but it was. I kind of don't want to get rid of my stuff in City though, because
No, that the alibi artist is necessary, and so is the Peacekeeper.
right. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess you probably need to lose the Geisha House.
No, I'm too much of a lover of that card to ever toss it most of the time. So,
Fair enough.
and that might yeah plays by me, but like it's gonna be so good because I can get him off the air ring at all times, right? With that card,
Yeah,
I can. It's just pretty
that is,
needed,
that is a definitely a non-zero benefit.
right? And with these cards out now, I'm getting a little more control on his deck. Now, when he gains an honor, I'll be okay with that.
And also, if you can dishonor the alibi artist, he's going to draw you all the cards in the world.
Yeah, yes. This is, some people were like, Shadow Village might not be that good, and I disagree with them. I think it's a super good card, but
I kind of want to build a deck with that and what is it, the Yogo Deceiver? that gives all your Dishonored people sincerity.
I have that in. If you look at my deck, I have that in this deck.
Oh, okay, we just haven't seen it then. All right, because that
Right.
feels like, hey, I'll just bid one and draw everything forever.
Okay. Okay. I want a card. That's fine.
I mean, kind of gotta, but I think playing that card there was a mistake because now you
I do
know.
too.
Like,
I,
if it was in his hand, it could be anything. But
um.
it was zero honor.
Right. Right. That was interesting. That was an interesting choice.
I mean, at the same time, I guess it burns the Peacekeeper activation or whatever that matters. What
Yeah.
else?
Well, that's not the time I would burn it when it matters if I get a card or not. I guess.
Yeah.
But you could have something up his sleeve too. I maybe I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe I'm missing something. With zero cards, it's hard to say that. But
I mean, I guess with an exposed courtyard,
you
he
never
can
have zero cards.
he's
Yeah.
going to replay a perfect gift
So I
and can
have to.
probably chain that into a logistics.
Let's see. I mean, that is the only way of getting cards right now. That could be a horrible province. It could be. We'll see. We'll see.
It
I have
is
some
before
options just to get.
overthrown, so
So it's the perfect number. Got it.
that just gets to live there forever now.
It it probably does. Cause like it'd be bad to break it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. I'm gonna take
Oh, I
Alma.
would. Okay, you swapped to air. Okay.
Yeah.
As I say,
I
like
need to.
leaving the Void Ring there is like he can't take that because then I mean he's already way behind on cards, so maybe it doesn't matter. But
Let's see here. If I actually let's so he gained one fate already this turn. Does he have a way of gaining another honor? Or he gained one honor already this turn. I don't know
uh,
if he has another way of gaining honor.
he's
I don't see
on Seeker of, or he's on an air roll, so the Singer isn't a thing.
zero cards in his hand though.
Oh, I mean
So
there's
I
that
think
too, right?
this is the time to break. So
Uh,
I'll be super aggressive.
he could go Fire and Offset.
Sure. But I'm Scorpion, so I'm okay with that. Because I'll have ways to dishonor him potentially. I take one from him. Okay. Oh no, I forgot it has the freaking. Wait, why did that?
Because
That
the Chronicler has one strength
one.
when it's dishonored. It doesn't have two glory.
Right, right. That's a mistake. Oh shoot. Okay. Well, I guess I don't have to worry about honor as much that way still.
I mean, this is true. It gives you a little bit of breathing room. The Water Ring is an interesting choice
It is.
because you can't.
Hmm.
I mean, I guess he can't be. Oh, hang on. He can. Okay, so that's Gain of Fate, so that's not super pertinent.
I don't know why I chose Wandering.
I don't know. I mean, there's literally no downside to letting him have it, so.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess you can always void yourself if you absolutely have to as well.
So I think it's
I would
for
do that, but you can.
you can't. That it's nice that you have the option to. I don't think it's the right call potentially.
No, I mean, Fire's the right call here,
Yeah.
and just make that scenario potato. I'd be careful about before. He has no cards in hand. That's such a
Right.
weird game state to be in that I never remember it.
It's super strange. I, But he's gonna get a card, right? He's gonna get a card from this. He's probably gonna get logistics. I'm guessing. I don't. Well,
Oh yeah, I guess it depends on what he flips. I guess it could be perfect cut. Oh, it's political though, so it's not going to be that. Oh, he just passes. Yeah, there's nothing in his discard pile. I mean, I guess he could perfect gift to try and get a card, but then he's giving you cards as well, which I think he's realizing
right,
is not where he wants to live right now.
right. He's be in a little bit of trouble potentially. Let's see here. Um, he's gonna come military on me. Okay.
I doubt it. Is he really? I mean, I guess you might as well scout. Oh, well,
He still can use.
oh, exposed courtyard. Yep,
Yeah, he can still use exposed courtyard.
yep. No, that does make sense. Logistics and Tessin. Okay, so if he wants it, favors his. Oh, no, never mind. He can't play Tessin, but he'll probably play the logistics and move the
Right.
staging ground over to Before the Throne. Oh,
No.
Legion of One. All right.
Yeah. Hmm.
I was going for a longer play.
Season one, so I get 3 here.
I mean, it's not breaking.
Right. Right. I do like favor, and I do like not losing a card from my hand, a random card from my hand, and him gaining one. So I think,
So,
and he has what?
oh, I was going to say you could dishonor the keeper to make it void, and then draw 2 cards when he resolves the void ring.
that's that's true. That is true. That's a possibility.
It's not a good one.
I don't hate it. It's actually I've noticed playing this deck. I've played it a little bit. I've played a decent amount, and I've noticed like I'm okay if you go void this turn. Sure, I'm fine with gaining a card or two.
I mean, the one downside to that is you lose city, but at the same time, like it forces him into other provinces, which is
Yeah.
a non-negligible penalty for breaking city.
So as sad as it is, I'm going to get rid of one of my shadowed villages this turn. So,
Yeah, I think you have to.
so I don't think I'm going to get rid of any of my other cards though, because I like them all.
Oh,
Ooh, perfect.
that's good.
A lot of
Do you have the forgery or the censure?
jerk. I do have a censure.
Because I'd be willing to put money down. You're going to have to use it. Really? Procedural interference.
He plays that card a lot. Oh man, I
Hang on. I need to
oh
move my camera out the way so people watching this can see this card that is uh, a targeted season of war, or he gains 2 honor.
oh let me see.
And the good news, thankfully, somehow it got through playtest and printing without the words cannot target a stronghold province.
I kind of need my stuff though. I would hate to use my censures here potentially. I
Well,
think it's
because here's the
real.
shitty thing, right? Like if you don't censure it, um, you're gonna lose it to the season of war.
Right. I'm going to be slightly more aggressive than I would probably normally be right now. I have 2 censures, which real feels bad, but I'm going to be slightly more aggressive than I would normally be
Yeah,
right now.
and shooting Sonuri is definitely the right thing to do
Yeah.
because that's 2 down, and then his board is pretty anemic. I say that he can still buy the hero, buy the message runner, flip the message runner, and do all the things.
So
I
I'm just
would
going to put all the fate and the stuff on it. Yeah.
I would for sure buy that entertainer.
Yeah, I will. He's not trying to dishonor me, so I don't super care, but yeah, I'm going to.
Staging ground. Oh, choose up to 2 face down cards. Okay, so and he got another staging ground, so he's going to go super wide again.
Right. I'll pass here just in case he uses the seasons. I don't know
No,
if he's going to. I'll take that.
uh, I think he's going to fire off the other staging grounds and then maybe season. Venerable
Right.
Historian. That's a classic card.
Yeah.
Haven't seen that. Haven't seen that one in forever.
I still think he's in not a great spot currently though, because he's do that. That hurts him a little bit.
Yeah. Although I guess this deck also had like him have wait, is procedural interference a freaking dynasty card? Okay, yeah. I mean that does technically I guess that can't hit your stronghold, so it's less of a concern once you have that stacked.
The big factor, big reason I chose to use my 2 Sentries there, it seems like a really not fun play, but the only time I'm going to have to use Sentries is against events, and he's not going to have any cards in his hand. I think that's
Right.
just when I want to use it. I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't feel great, but I that's just what I'm calling out.
I mean there's like it's six of one, half dozen the other, right? Because like if he draws a conflict character or an attachment, the censors are dead. And
Yeah.
but at the same time, like if he draws an event and you blow it out with a censure, then he's doing nothing this turn. I mean, I guess
Well,
he is.
I know he has Test in his hand currently, so that's the last card that was that I saw with.
Ah, okay.
Let's see. I have to stop that. Make sure I win it. I think that's what I want to do.
I think that's going to be. I mean, I guess you have
I'm
a
gonna make him go fire, right? Then I'm gonna get another keeper out, and I'm gonna get a
yes,
fate.
and then swap it to air.
Yep, he's got an honor as guy with that ability. I'll just do this. So then you have to use the test in here, but he wants to do all that stuff. Yep, there's a good chance he'll use the test in here.
Yeah.
Yep, yep. Let's see here. That means that I can.
Now you have free
Huh?
reign.
I do. I think tough calls are tough. I think that I'm okay. Huh. I really want to win this. And if I use Seize the Mind now, I would get a draw of 2 cards. I get my monk out. He has 0 cards. I think I just want to outpace him right now, and this is the way that I do that.
Yes, and you also lose no honor if you seize the historian
Right.
because he has no honor. So here's a question for a prompt. I assume you could have pulled fate from a bunch of other characters, right? Like it didn't just have to come
Right.
off the. You could have pulled off the peacekeeper to gain an honor at the end of the turn.
Right. I with the characters I have out now, I want my alibi artist out for racing, and I
Oh
want
God,
my
yeah.
peacekeeper out for making sure he's not going crazy, right?
For
So
capping what he does.
normal, like sometimes I would not take it off of him all the time, but that's why I put the extra fate there,
Right.
and I didn't have a keeper yet, so that's just outlined up this time.
Yeah, I think you are in a decent spot for this game, assuming
Right.
you can start pushing brakes.
Yes, that is something I have to do at some point. Which is that's a problem I find with this deck sometimes, where it's like, man, I'm just doing so great. Wait,
Oh
but
wait,
the game's not. so that happens.
yeah, no.
Um,
Like I am very familiar with making decks. They're like, it does this awesome thing. Well, how does it win?
it's
It
supposed to
does this
win.
awesome thing.
tell me one thing to do. I don't want to do multiple things. I want it to either be a fun deck or a win.
Yeah, you're just asking too much. What are you doing?
So I have a spicy seeker of knowledge in my hand. So that's why I'm. Well, I don't know. Void just might be the right answer to get rid of his hero anyway. So
Well, the question there is, can you stop his military air conflict?
yeah, I have a Tessin. So
Okay.
I'll either have to overcommit to this conflict or hmm, okay, I'll get him out with some useful fate on it, or her out.
I'm wondering if ditching the Sanguine Mastery to go Keeper of Air, since you have the Seekers of Knowledge, would be a useful switch.
To go Keeper of Air
Yeah,
or um
because that way you can more reliably pull the keepers if you need to.
maybe and Sanguine Mastery might be that type of card that I was talking about earlier with Stoke, where it's just a feels good card, but I'm going to test it out enough to
Yeah.
make sure. But it's so good against freaking Crane and
Oh
like
my
Tower
god,
Step,
tell me about it. And
and it, and and it just feels impossible to beat those matchups if you don't have a card like that in.
right,
So
because like
um,
even against and this is my current bugbear, but Tactician Lion, like getting rid of one tactical ingenuity never feels like enough.
yeah, with you know obviously Seize the Mind is this Lion's worst nightmare right now. So I'm this
They
deck does
fucking need
okay.
one.
Yeah, but she that deck can be so scary.
Hmm.
Okay,
Goes
running into that.
water.
Zero cards still. So I think I'm just going to.
So what? He stands the message runner. Oh no, I guess he's going to stand a historian for favor, maybe.
Right. I'm gonna dishonor more.
Ooh, he is gonna Jude Nakoma you after he logistics,
Oh yeah.
and that's like a super strength about Jude Nakoma is like it's probably gonna stop a break here.
Right, right. Yeah, that's true.
But at the same time, it's like conceding ring effects. Oh, he moves it off before the throne. That's interesting.
Interesting. He probably wants me to let him draw more cards.
Yeah,
Right.
that's probably Art of War.
I'm sure that's what it is.
But
Which is
If that's Art of War, he's going to bow the Beautiful Entertainer off of Cube Nakoma to force you into a position of breaking Art of War to if you want to get rid of that courtyard.
yeah, and you know trading 3 cards for 3 cards later is not the worst thing in the world.
Hmm.
Like, because he's going to keep drawing off of that exposed courtyard, and exposed courtyard lets you take a card, which
Yeah.
means it's probably better than just drawing 3 random cards. But
Oh no, he goes for the Peacekeeper. Okay, so I guess you can poke at it then.
right,
Hmm.
oh, I can just break it too. Still, I still want to. Let's see here. So I forgot about his stronghold. I'm not used to talking and playing, so that's
My
on me a little bit.
my apologies. It's definitely a
Oh
different.
no. I should be used to that. Like it's a fun thing to do to talk through these games, but
That is
um,
definitely one thing I miss. as we live in the most boring apocalypse. Although it's recently gotten very interesting, but like not being able to sit and play with people and just like
Right,
talk through things to see if they work or
right.
not.
I do love doing that. I do love doing that just to see like people's reaction to things too. Like it's so much fun.
Hmm.
Um, so I think I just attack here. I just am okay with him getting cards.
Yep. He is
But,
clearly happy with you getting or giving him cards.
right, but now
Um,
he doesn't have the honor
yeah, although
for.
I do expect he's going to pivot into a much more aggressive conquest deck or play style.
I would think so,
But
but
but see, I think he overcommitted to honor tricks since he's running
I think
contingency plan and way of the chrysanthemum.
I think so too. I think so too. And I've heard this said from several people, but way the chrysanthemum is just a trap. Like
It
it's just a
is.
bat.
It is
It's a
such a
card that
trap.
can just leave you first turn or just lose the game after that. So
Yeah. Now, I did see at a local elemental championship years and years and years ago, it feels like, there was a unicorn player that won turn one because of Way of the Chrysanthemum.
at one turn one, you said?
Yes, because
Yeah.
they chained yurts together and then pulled off the Way of the Chrysanthemum play on a one bid.
I know it's not a super popular deck, but one of the most terrifying decks I've seen is that freaking unicorn um like crab deck that runs a ton of yurts and a ton of ways to get uh
Oh,
back.
Turbo Yurt.
It's so scary. It's just sometimes you almost can do nothing against that deck.
Well, so the dumb thing now is that since there's also Apprentice Engineer, they have an uncancelable rebuild.
Yes, yeah, they run that in that deck. Yeah, which seems real good.
I
Seems
mean,
real good.
you run both, right? And just be like, hey, do something. I don't think you can do enough.
Yeah. Okay, he reset
Yep.
my city again, which is fine. Which is fine. He's gonna have. I don't know if he has to bid anymore now that he got seasons out. We'll see. We'll see what he wants to do. He might switch it all around. Nope. So still playing the
Still
honor
playing the
game.
one bid. Yep. I wonder, and that's one thing I do kind of appreciate about um, this game is the fake outs. Because like it's like fucking Princess Bride. If he thinks that you think that he thinks that you think that he's going to swap bids to go more aggressive,
Yes. Yes. Because as soon as I'm like, oh, he's not gonna play for
honor
he's gonna try to
anymore.
break he's like, well, I win.
Yep. Because you know he's got a way of the chrysanthemum in hand. There's a Kenson Nogaka. Okay.
Interesting. Interesting. So I was gonna get some guys honored. A 5 strength too, which is annoying. Let's see here. So that means he's potentially going to be at 19 at the end of the turn.
Which
Which
is
I'm is
manageable,
okay. Yeah.
especially since you can always go
So,
air with the Seeker of Knowledge to budge him down a little bit.
yes, I can make anything into a air ring, and I can switch off when he attacks there. I can switch it off.
Yeah.
Tough choice here, actually. I think I'll pick that.
What was the choice?
It was a bonsai or for shame. I think I took the
Ooh,
bonsai. We'll see. We'll see.
really?
He's just gonna have an honor guy and just bow him. is what I'm thinking, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Uh, okay, that looks like fun. What we have? Hmm. Okay, seems okay.
There's a break. So we're seeing
Yep.
less the towering strong line in this game and more just military shenanigans.
Which, yeah, this deck used to, when I first came up with this deck, it used to be if you don't have Spy turn 1, good luck. But I tried to make it more, with the keepers are the big thing that helped make it more
Mm-hmm.
consistent. Cool.
Yeah, I'm also wondering, like, if you want it to be more reliably conquesty, if running Crab Splash for like Tetsubo Blood wouldn't be amiss.
Um, that's a little bit, and I haven't tested it. You know, there's so many directions you can go with
Mm-hmm.
a deck like this. I can't say for sure like that's bad, that's right. You know, but
I don't know, it's nice that like the I guess the framework of this deck is entirely in Scorpion, and it just depends on what kind of utility you want to get out of it for your splash.
water. Let's see.
Why does he keep going? I guess it stops unopposed, but just feels
Right,
super weird.
honoring his guy. Sure, sure, sure. I think I'm just okay with this. This is just fine with me. That's why he didn't want me to have the assassinate. I'll take one away from him. I think that's probably going to be, let's see, formal invitation.
Yep, because
Interesting.
he's gonna Q Nakoma you.
That's right. That's right. Which
It's fine.
which is
I mean, the earring's on the table, so it's not like you.
no, I don't think I'm going to do this. But what would be fun is if I seize the mind here. That seems like a bad choice. I
Yeah,
don't think I don't have much honor on that.
I would save that for
He's
your
him.
attack on the
Maybe
box.
we'll see. I don't think I'd do that, but yep. So he bows there. That's okay. Don't love it, but
And what you're gonna straighten Alibi Artist and go in at 6 on the box, which is Spectral
I,
Visitations.
I'll probably the other guy since Albayers and him have the same. He's a little more versatile, just in case.
Yeah, that's fair.
But let's see. I'll pass, and I'll attack in with. Yep. So I'll be 6 currently. I'll do air or 7 with a favor. Initiate.
Shameful.
Painful. Interesting.
Mm-hmm. And there's a concession. All right. Well, Corey,
Yeah.
thank you for taking time to do this.
Yeah. Thanks for streaming, and I'm glad this deck and both of my opponent's decks got a little
Yeah.
attention here, so this is awesome.
Uh, what could you calling in favors that he's asking about? It's not Tessin.
Here's my hand. So I still have Secret Knowledge. I had Seize the Mind just in case. So I had a lot of outs still.
Yeah. I guess for anyone that ends up watching this, either on Twitch or YouTube, I get a kick, clearly, out of seeing wild decks. So if you wanna do this, hit me up. Corey, if you come up with any other wild decks, please hit me up.
Yeah, I'd like to give a shout out to like maybe Series deck, his Series
Yeah,
new deck. That'd be kind of
I'll hit him next because I know he's always been a big proponent of the kill deck, and
yep.
it's I would like to showcase a variety of decks for a variety of clans. That way, maybe people don't feel absolutely locked into playing the one prevailing deck,
Right,
because
right.
that gets super old super quick.
I agree. I know Scorpion a little bit better, so it's a little easier for me to give out shout outs from Scorpion side of things. But
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. Before we wrap it up, I want to give a shout out to Amlash. Goes by Doji Joseph on the Discord server. He's running a Tokibana competition, so it's a rate my setup for your playmats. So you set up your rings, your playmats, your tokens, favors, all that stuff. Take a picture of it and send it over to him. And he's going to do the deadline is the 17th, and he's going to post the entrance on the 18th. And then people vote for their favorites. And I believe he's got some prizes lined up for it too. So that's a neat little way to participate. Oh, and he's going to tweet the pictures at Fantasy Flight, so it counts for their play at home competition thing that they're doing. I can't remember what it's called, but basically it gets us more promos, so that's a good thing too. Uh, but thank you for joining us, Corey. If you got anything else,
No, I think that's it.
all
Thank you
right.
again for
Absolutely, I enjoyed it. I hope you did too. I hope the people that watched and will watch enjoyed as well. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.